Good morning, everyone. So I decided to give my icebreaker speech on why I joined Toastmasters. When I was looking through the icebreakers materials, it said that every interesting story should start with an interesting topic. I wouldn't say that my story for joining Toastmasters is all that interesting, but I said, hey, I'll give it a shot. At first, I told myself that it was going to be more about learning how to communicate better, gaining more confidence when I spoke, learning how to speak more concisely and clearly, especially when speaking off the cuff. But after my first meeting, I realized Toastmasters is so much more. The ability to evaluate one another and objectively evaluate one another and support each other as members are trying something new. Well, I wasn't expecting that. And to be honest, it was quite interesting. And I decided to ask for an application after that very first meeting. So why did it take me so long to finally come to a Toastmasters meeting and see what it's all about? Like many things in my life, it's been a journey. I first heard about Toastmasters around 18 years ago. At that time, I was a firefighter who was just getting promoted to fire lieutenant at the ripe old age of 26. I went from taking orders to giving orders to men that were twice my age with 3 to 4 times the experience that I had. I thought I was prepared for anything that was going to be thrown my way. Let's just say I wasn't all that correct in that assumption. The firefighting part was easy, but communicating with them, that part wasn't easy at all. I had a lot to learn. Every leadership and management book that I read at that time in terms of communication said the same thing. Go to Toastmasters, learn how to communicate effectively. Well, obviously I didn't do that, but I did have to learn how to communicate in a different way. I realized communication wasn't just about words. It was about your gestures, your general demeanor, your nonverbal cues. These are all areas that I had to work on. And seeing after that first meeting that Toastmasters evaluates all of those areas today, I realized those books were right. I should have joined back then. Whenever I see a speaker, whether it's at a conference or I'm watching a TED Talk or live on stage, I'm always amazed at their way that they could mesmerize an audience. And I used to sit here and think, wow, what a gift. And I realized it's really not a gift. It's a skill, one that takes intentional practice and hard work. When you leave a talk feeling inspired, ready to make a change, or just try something new, it really hits you how powerful communication is. Without it, you might be just spinning your wheels, never putting your ideas into action. Now that I've transitioned into a second career, one that doesn't come with the command and control style of emergency scenes, I've had to pivot my communication style. I've realized that I have to learn how to truly listen, not just for time-sensitive information, but actually truly listen. And that's really been a challenge, to be honest. But it's also what excites me about Toastmasters, because the ability to learn new strategies and tactics and learn how to become a better communicator in all areas of life is something that I'm looking to strive for. Lately, I've been trying to make decisions through a different lens, one of my future self. I ask, will my 70-year-old self look back and be happy that I've done this? I can't imagine that building new skills, learning new people, and getting out of my comfort zone would be a decision that I look back on and say, wow, I'll regret that. I consider myself a lifelong learner, someone who is trying to live intentionally and continually grow. And they say that they say you become more and more like the people you surround yourself with. So why not surround myself with motivated people, people who have a growth mindset, and that are willing to help one another. And let's face it, if you're all here at 7:30 a.m. on a Wednesday morning, you're definitely motivated. Lastly, I wanted to model something for my boys. That personal growth doesn't stop when you quote unquote make it. You don't always have to be chasing the next best thing, but you should try to be growing a little bit each day. And the beauty of that is that growth doesn't have an expiration date. Whether it's learning a new skill, building confidence, or just saying yes to something that scares you just a little bit, every step forward counts. Although it's taken me a long time to get here, I know I can honestly look back in the future and say that the decision to join Toastmasters will be one that is, why didn't I do this sooner? Thank you.